Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Remember our troops abroad and their families here at home. Thank you. I would ask the council to join me in turning the dais over to our friends from Belmar Elementary School, so they can come up and take over.
My name is Melissa Murphy. I am a teacher over at Belmar Elementary School, and this year I was the coordinator for our Youth in Government program. It's a wonderful opportunity for our students to get to experience what it's like to run a municipality, learn about the different aspects of running a town, what it takes, what the jobs entail, how do you get those jobs. And this is a group of students who ran for elected positions in the school. They wrote speeches and were elected mayor and town council of Belmar. Unfortunately, 2 of our students were unable to attend tonight, so the role of Sarah Caldwell, 7th grader, will be played by Mrs. Hannah, our school principal, and I will be reading a part for Evelyn Gonzalez. One might come late, so she might sneak up here. So we will hand it over to the girls to get started.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Co-Star and has been posted on the doors of the 206. We would like to thank Mayor Doherty and the Belmar Council for having us here this evening. Without their time and effort, this program would not be possible. The Youth Government Program gives the students at Belmar Elementary School an opportunity to express our opinions and give our thoughts about the towns of Belmar and Lacoma. This year, our Youth Government Mayor and Town Council created ideas that would make the children of Belmar happy.
We will now have roll call. Councilwoman Sarah Caldwell.
Here.
Councilwoman Riley Kirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Michelle Wooden.
Here.
And Mayor Amber Axelson.
Here.
We will now hear from Mayor Amber Axelson.
Thank you all for coming. On Youth Government Day, Belmar Borough Hall opened its doors for the students of Belmar. I would like to thank Mayor Doherty, the Town Council, and borough employees for giving their time and showing us what it takes to run a town. I would like to also thank everyone who works for and at the Borough Hall for working so hard to make this program a success. I will open up the meeting to any new business.
Ms. Mayor, I have a resolution. Be it resolved that the Borough of Belmar have a quarterly cleanup day. Excuse me. I feel that our neighborhoods are a haven for all of our citizens, and cleaning up the town would add not only to the beauty of our town, but also a feeling of well-being for our residents. It would also add a level of safety to our town, especially in the summer. As we all know, our town can become a very busy place during the summer, and many people migrate to the areas that are not as well kept. I hope you agree with me and vote yes on this resolution.
Does anyone second the resolution?
Yes, I second the resolution. I think that this idea will add beauty and safety to our town and will not be difficult to accomplish. I think that it will make our residents happier and make our children more often to play outside. Perhaps families can volunteer to help and get themselves and their children involved in the community. I strongly second this resolution.
We will now vote on the resolution. Councilwoman Sarah Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley Kirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Michelle Wooden.
Aye. The resolution passes. Are there any more resolutions?
Yes, Ms. Mayor, I have a resolution. Be it resolved that the Borough of Belmar adds solar-powered light poles in town and on the side streets. I feel that this is important because of how many families and children
resolution. I agree with Councilman Wooden when she says that adding more lighting in town would be a great improvement. Specifically, I would like to see lighting that would be beneficial not only to our town, but also to the environment. I think it would also be important that our children and all residents be able to walk around our town safely all year round.
Although this is a nice idea, I disagree with this resolution. I feel that with the economy in the quiet state it is currently in, adding solar-powered lighting is an unnecessary and expensive project. It would be much more economical to add regular light poles, which would keep our community safe in a more cost-effective way.
We will now vote on the resolution. Councilwoman Sarah Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley Kirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Evelyn Gonzalez. She said nay. Councilwoman Michelle Wooden.
Nay.
Mayor Amber Axelson to break the tie.
Aye. The resolution passes. Is there anything else on the agenda? Yes, Madam Mayor, I have a resolution. Be it resolved that the Borough of Belmar adds several fundraising events to the calendar to raise money for the town. I have several ideas for such fundraisers. First, we would have a pie eating contest on 4th of July weekend. Much attention is drawn to the hot dog eating contest at Coney Island, so why not have our own contest that day? We could charge money for each contestant and charge admission to the contest. We could also hold a 24-hour dance marathon where couples would have to dance for 24 hours straight. The couples would pay to enter and spectators would pay to watch. We could have a trophy for the winning pair. Both of these ideas would be popular events that would generate money for the town.
Does anyone second the resolution?
I second the resolution. I think these two events would not only raise money, but be fun for residents and visitors. I'm sure that we would have many community members who would be willing to participate. I know that the students at our school would love to attend and participate in both these events.
Although I think this is a nice idea, I disagree with this resolution. I feel that if we were to plan these two fundraisers, the money should go to charities, not to our town. They are both fun and exciting events, but the money should go towards good causes. If we use these events as charity fundraisers, I think we would get more support and more participation. We will now vote on the resolution. Councilwoman Sarah Caldwell.
Nay.
Councilwoman Riley Kirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Michelle Wooden.
Aye. The resolution passes. Is there any new business?
Yes, be it resolved that the Borough of Belmar have an annual street fair during the summer known as Belmar Day. Belmar is able to draw great crowds for both the Seafood Festival and the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Why not have an event to draw more families to our area? A street fair could feature local artists, small business owners, restaurants, and musicians. There could also be a petting zoo, face painting, as well as attractions to the children. I hope you agree that this would be a wonderful addition to Belmar's calendar and vote yes on this resolution.
Does anyone second the resolution?
I second the resolution. Residents and visitors would be attracted to the area, and it would bring new tourists to our town. It would focus on families and would be a great opportunity for our local businesses and artists to reach new audiences. I agree with this resolution and hope that it passes.
We will now vote on the resolution. Councilwoman Sarah Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley Kirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Michelle Wooden.
Aye. The resolution passes. Are there any more resolutions? Then I move that this meeting be opened up to the public. Are there any public comments or questions?
Before we close this meeting, I would like to add that when we create these resolutions, we think that it would really help our town. We all enjoy living in Belmar and we want to make it the best it possibly can be. Thank you for listening to us this evening. With that, I move to close this meeting. Does anyone second?
I second. This meeting of the Belmar Youth Government Town Council is closed. Thank you.
Just want to thank the town council, Mayor Doherty, everyone who helps make this day such an exciting opportunity for our students. They do work very hard to come up with great ideas, and they love being a part of their community. So thank you very much for having us this year again.
I'd like to thank Mayor and Council for giving our students an opportunity to participate in local government. I think it's a great opportunity for them to see some of the processes that happen here. I think it might spark some local leaders. I'd like to thank Sarah for being a few minutes late, so I had a chance to be a 7th grader for like 5 minutes. It was lovely. And thank Ms. Murphy for leading them through this process. So thank you.
Girls, come on back up to the front so we can take a picture.
Take a picture with the mayor and council.
And I gotta tell you, when on youth government day, when they came over, instead of being in here in this stuffy place, where did we go, girls? We went to Sweet Teas. If you haven't been there yet, it's a great place to have a meeting, right? It's a great discussion about things. But also that day, you know, we had folks that came in and acted as the judge and the chief of police, and they went around with folks like Chief Palmazzano and Director Campbell, also our business administrator. So I want to thank all of our staff here in Belmar at Borough Hall that took their time out of their day to work with everyone as well. But I thought we had a very good discussion at Sweet Teas.
Yes.
And one of the things that you guys mentioned was a festival or a fair during the summer. Well, one of the new additions we did add during the fall, so it's a little off-season, is the townwide bonfire. One of you guys went to, it was actually Councilwoman Nicolay's idea, but it was a huge success. So we're going to try to, you know, build on that, you know, for folks that, for families that are right here in Belmar as well. All right. So will the council join me for a picture?
You or the girls?
They look very comfortable in those seats up there, don't they?
We're the old council.
The girls, and those tables, so we're both mayor and council.
That's true, we went through 2 months. That's how it is.
I hate that they're taller than me.
Nice job, girls.
Presentations of the month. This is a slightly different than our typical presentation. We're going to have we're going to combine our November and December into one presentation. So I'm going to ask our November and December employees of the month to come up. That's Sal Pacelli and Kevin Gay. They wore their best flannels for tonight. All right. So here, Sal's been in Belmar a long time. Sal's worked for Belmar for 3 years. Kevin's worked for Belmar for 20 years. Last year, Kevin and Sal started a new tradition at Belmar. I don't know if you saw it. Santa and Elf. Delivering presents to the boys and girls of Belmar accompanied by emergency equipment, lights, and music. So what they do is they take one of those Humvees we got from the military, they somehow get power to it in the back, they dress it up, they drive around with lights and music, and they do an incredible job. In a few weeks, Kevin and Sal will again ensure that Santa and his elf kick off the Belmar tree lighting and help deliver presents to the children in Belmar. Kevin and Sal go way above and beyond the call of duty for Belmar, and their service is unparalleled. So,
I just want to say thank you. I enjoy every moment being here in Belmar. I grew up in Belmar. Mr. McGovern, my Little League coach. Love being here, and this is very unexpected. Thank you very much. Evan?
Do I have time to embarrass yourself?
Go right ahead.
We had a tournament game in Ocean Township. He knows, he remembers. And you have to play everybody. And I turned to put Sal into the game. And he wasn't there in the dugout. So I played with those guys. When I turned around a few minutes later, there's Sal eating a cheeseburger and french fries in the dugout. He did get in.
So as employees of the month, they get $100 each from the Belmar Business Partnership to spend anywhere they want. And most importantly, we get to put their two very handsome mugshots up on the Route 35 sign from now until January 1st.
So next
More
year.
than a month, so next year. So,
Don't tell my children that it's them, because they totally thought it was Santa and an elf. I thought they were gonna pass out. They were so
Hey, yeah,
excited.
don't ruin this, reporters, don't be telling us.
Thank you.
Sal, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Good cheeseburger.
Who wants a cheeseburger? Fries? Yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen.
Next is our workshop discussion. Do we have anything on for workshop? Does anyone from the council want to add anything? No? All right, next are petitions. Any petitions for the mayor and council? No. Next are reports of council. Council President Brian McGovern.
Well, I'll help everybody out. At this meeting, I do not have a report. So,
Aw, don't you?
no jokes, no anything. Sorry. That's my report.
Outstanding report. Councilwoman Janice Kielmeyer.
I'd like to thank the VFW and the Historical Society and the Belmar Arts Council for a very nice memorial service and reception on Veterans Day. And certainly I would like to thank the Calvary Baptist Church who put on the Juno service on the 13th. It was very, very well attended, and I think the families of the four gentlemen who lost their lives in World War II really appreciated it. Upcoming events: senior luncheon tomorrow, 11 a.m. in the gym. DiCarlo Fitness will be there to talk, and I believe the food is coming from Federici's. The library birthday, again, for your information, is the 4th of December, 12 until 2 at the library. Mr. McGovern will be speaking. And then at 6 o'clock that evening, there is a dinner at Randall's. Tickets are on sale at the library for $50. There's a rabies clinic on the 7th of December at DPW. If your dog needs rabies shots prior to getting his or her new license in January, that's the time to do it. The county puts it on, and the cost is $0. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Bean.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to read a part of a resolution here. It's 2014-101. This is the resolution authorizing issuance of seasonal retail consumption license to DJs for period ending November 14th, 2014. Number 3 states that the licensee provide the chief of Belmar Police Department in writing the names and addresses of all employees. I had opened that about a week ago and came back that there are no records as requested. I just want to get on the record. Chief, any idea? Did they turn out a list this year or anything?
All their employees have to change their ID card, so we should have their information.
All right.
I'll have to look into it. Everyone that comes every year to get renewed or new people that work for them, they get an ID card.
Any idea why Captain Heisman would say there are no records as requested?
I have to speak to them. I don't.
But you do have all the name and addresses of all the DJ's employees, correct? Just for the record, so that when I open it again, I know they're there.
They have to come in and get their ID card.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What else I got here? No, that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman Nicolay.
Start with the Belmar Elementary School. As you can see from the flurry of activity at Belmar Elementary School, I gotta go back to school. Progress is well underway for improvement of our 11th Ave playground and field, including a new playground and safety matting for pre-K and kindergarten students, newly sodded fields, and security fencing around the entire perimeter. Students are eagerly anticipating the completion of this project, and school administrators are confident that they will thoroughly enjoy this finished product. The paved seating area, which will ultimately be seating for 80 students, will offer a lovely outdoor eating area, as well as recreational space for teachers to conduct outdoor lessons. The project is being funded by the state grant for 40%, with the additional 60% coming from capital reserve. The school continues to go Google in its second year of training teachers to integrate Google Apps for Education with their instructional plans. Students are benefiting from this advanced technology training by using this innovative, high-interest application in their classroom. Reminder, schools close for Thanksgiving break November 27th and 28th, with a 1 p.m. dismissal on the 26th. Lunch will be served that day. Holidays in Belmar. Friday, December 5th is our Belmar tree lighting. 6 p.m., Piano Plaza, Santa, music, and fire truck rides. On December the 17th, Wednesday, Santa comes to Belmar. Belmar's Department of Public Works is helping Santa deliver wrapped presents to children starting at 6 p.m. Parents may drop off their wrapped and clearly labeled toys to Santa with their child's name and address, delivery address, at Borough Hall, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. through December 12th. Any questions, contact Mike Jingles Campbell at 749-6325, 749-6325. Just a couple things from our Belmar Business Partnership. The BBP web has been redone. It looks great, very simple, has more information than before, but very clear and easy to understand. Thanks to Marty Riccio, all volunteer efforts on his part. The BBP has asked the U.S. Department of Justice for free ADA compliant guides for small businesses, tax incentives, and retailers. We'll distribute them to all Belmar business owners. For DPW, busy as always. They're sweeping the leaves, the brush, the curbs, the parks, Christmas decorations. If anybody has seen the lights go up, they look beautiful. Any water breaks reported, dead trees, all while still maintaining their daily chores. And they want to wish everybody a blessed Thanksgiving. And that's my report.
I only have one thing to report. I guess in 2 or 3 Saturdays, on Saturday, December 6th, yours truly is going to guest bartend at Conley Station as a fundraiser for our tour drive here in Belmar. Now, we've partnered between Belmar and the Friendly Sons of the Shillelagh to purchase toys and also accumulate them through donations. So it's 4 to 8 on Saturday, December 6th. Danny White has volunteered to play, so we'll have entertainment as well. I'm not good at this job whatsoever, so if you order more than a beer, you don't know what you may end up getting. If you keep it simple, drink a tonic, things like that, I can do it. You order Manhattan, and you may get a Miller Lite. But you can come and have a good laugh at my expense. Again, it's $10 at the door or an unwrapped toy. So for most people, you know, it's probably just as easy to do $10. So that's all for me. And it is entertaining. I'm horrible at it. Next are approval of the minutes.
The approval of minutes. I move that the minutes of the meeting held on November 5th, 2014 be approved as recorded and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second.
Councilwoman Keough Blackburn?
Yes.
Councilman Hubbard?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
One here.
Councilman Nicolai?
Yes.
Abstain. You should abstain, right?
Oh, sorry, abstain.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes. Next is a public session for the resolution calendar. Anyone with a comment, question on the public resolution, or the resolution calendar, please raise your hand. We can call on, come to the microphone, which is sort of in the middle of the floor. Seeing none, I'll make a, oh, yes, sir.
Oh, excuse me, is this the consent agenda?
Yes.
Oh, can I ask that, I just don't have a number on here. One of called, resolution authorizing Borough of Belmar to submit a grant application to the recipient agreement with the Department of Environmental Protection.
Yes, you want to make a comment on that, or you have a question?
Yeah, last paragraph. The last paragraph of the resolution talks about legalized games of chance, and I just don't see any relevance to what the subject is here.
Hey, Gene, can you go to the mic?
That looks like.
Gene Kramer, Fourth Avenue. This is a resolution authorizing the Borough of Belmar to submit a grant application and enter into a sub-recipient agreement with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. The last paragraph here pertains to findings and determinations with legalized games of chance commission. I just don't see any relevance to that being in this resolution.
You're right,
That's-
we'll strike that language out.
That whole last be it further resolved should be stricken.
All right, I will make a motion.
Oh, can I have another one? I'm sorry. Okay. Likewise, no resolution number. Resolution authorizing mayor and borough clerk to request permission from utility companies for use of poles for Christmas, decorative banners for 2014. I think there's a couple of mistakes in this one also. One of them being First Energy and JCP&L are one and the same. The other one, it mentions Cablevision of Monmouth, and to the best of my knowledge, Cablevision of Monmouth does not have any utility poles, at least in the borough of Belmar.
Thank you. Just Peter.
Peter Pyro, North Boulevard in Belmar. I'd like to thank Colleen Conley for doing a wonderful job Friday afternoon, learning about the new funding that's available from the New Jersey DEP via the federal agency. So we got $50 million for so Colleen did a wonderful job of instantly putting this resolution on the consent agenda before the meeting was even over. And I thank her very much for that and her efforts in this regard. Thank you.
See no other public comment questions, I'll make a motion to close the public portion of the resolution calendar.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, let's do the resolutions, not by consent first, and then on the consent agenda, I'll make a motion to amend the one that Mr. Kramer mentioned. So the first resolution authorizing payment of bills, I'll offer this resolution.
Second?
Councilwoman Field Blackburn?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Abstain.
Councilman Nicolay? Mayor Barry?
Yes. Next is the consent agenda. First, if we can, I'll offer to strike under the resolution regarding a grant application entered into this recipient agreement with New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and JDP, where it says, be it further resolved, that entire sentence. Make a motion to strike that from this resolution.
Second?
Councilman Field Blackburn?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Barry?
Yes. Next, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Councilman Field Blackburn?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Barry?
Yes. Next are ordinances, second reading public hearing, first one, ordinance 2014-18. This one's back again. And
I'll address this.
I'll step off the dais before you can discuss it, and I'll turn the council over to Council President McGovern. Thank you.
Council, at the last meeting, you had a quorum, but apparently, when the vote was taken, you may not have had a quorum. There's a question. I spoke to council for the plaintiffs in this matter. We discussed it out of abundance of caution. We are just voting again on this ordinance. It's simply just out of abundance just need to open it up to the public, and then vote on it.
Okay, I'd like to offer that ordinance 2014-18. The ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 6, Department of Finance of the General Ordinances of the Borough of Belmar pertaining to Section 13, receipt of bids. Do I have a second?
Did you public comment?
We have to do the public comment after we second, right?
No,
Or
before.
you just, what you do is you're gonna do ask for public comment
Okay.
on the ordinance, and then you'll close the public comment, and then you vote.
I thought we had to move it first and then listen and then vote.
No, that's,
Okay.
you can have the public comment.
Okay, do we have any public comments? Patty?
Hi, Patricia Carrillo, Shinyamu. It's more of a question. So this was the one that was voted on with two people, okay?
Right.
So this is to get rid of the ordinance,
Right.
everything that's in it. And then, is there gonna be rewritten? You're gonna-
Yeah, we're eventually gonna come up with an ordinance that will fit us in the future. We're looking into other towns, other municipalities that have ordinances that, deal with these projects going out to bid. See if they satisfy everybody, so that we don't have that controversy over that ordinance that we had to amend, and we had all that, the petition and whatnot.
Okay, so it's for the bidding ordinance, and then what you're gonna do is put something else in there, and what's that gonna cover?
But at this point in time, I don't think there's been any Scrivener or any ordinance at this point in time. I don't know if there's been any internal discussions, but there's been no internal preparation of the ordinances. But to see
Right.
any-
At this point, we still protected by the, ordinances from the state of New Jersey, in case we have a project that has to go out to bid. We don't have our own ordinance specific to projects that we want worked on in Belmar.
Okay, so we're just gonna go as we've been doing since
Correct.
Pretty much, yeah.
1700?
Correct.
Okay.
Gene?
Gene Kramer, Fourth Avenue. I saw in the newspaper that there was a public notice for this hearing to be on November 5th. Was another notice published to notify the public that now this ordinance is being heard today, November 18th?
April, can you answer that, or?
Yeah, it was on the website.
The reason I'm asking that is, this is now, I know at the last meeting I was here, this was not continued, there was no motion to carry or anything to inform the public that it was going to be discussed tonight. I don't have any problem with that because I'm here, but certainly maybe, a lot of people have, I guess, a vested interest in this, including organized labor. And what notice did they get that it was going to be heard tonight?
Except that the fact that it's on the website, it's almost just redundant of the 2 weeks ago, except we're gonna have a quorum. I mean, if they didn't show up 2 weeks ago for it, why would they show up tonight?
Right, exactly. And they wouldn't have the opportunity to speak like I am here now.
So they would have been here 2 weeks ago.
That's exactly the point. There was no public notice for what's being considered tonight, and this is an ordinance.
Yeah, if I might, it wasn't published in the paper or anything in accordance with our normal standard practice.
Not the second time.
Okay, yeah, it should be noticed, out of abundance of caution. I mean, that's why we're here this evening. I don't think anyone's disputing it, but I do think that with the proper notice, that should be done. Can everyone hear me? Okay. With that being said, typically, we're required to publish our notices and include all our ordinances. That being said, if that was not done, then that should be done. You know, again, it's the reason why we're doing all of our dotting our i's and crossing our t's this evening is to make sure that, you know, the lawsuit's dismissed, the borough doesn't incur any additional expenses. That being said, proper notice should be sent out. So, you know, rather than vote on this evening, I do think that you do need to provide proper notice as we do required by our ordinances and our statutes.
Any more?
You just ask that to relist it.
In other words, this will come up at,
It's going to come at your next meeting, which I believe is December 16th.
fine.
December 2nd.
December 2nd, I'm sorry.
Okay. Can I just ask a question here? And this is the, I guess, the existing codified portion of the ordinance that's going to be excluded. And I see under paragraph number 1, if you have it in front of you, and then below that, it would be 1A is being eliminated. I guess my question is 1B also going to be eliminated?
We're rescinding the whole ordinance.
I understand that, but this appears to me that it was codified incorrectly.
Well,
Why would anybody have an A without a B? You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate the grammatical comments, but I'm sure that we can correct that on December 2nd, so that if that in fact we do not have an A, if we have an A without a B, you're correct. Grammatically, we shouldn't have an A without a B, that's correct.
Thank you.
So what, I would close the public portion.
Okay, I'll close the public portion on tonight's vote on ordinance 2014-18. And do we vote on that there, Mike?
Well, you're going to close the tree, you got to close the public portion, and then we'll have it rescheduled for December 16th, or December 2nd, I believe.
Okay, I make a motion that we close this vote tonight, and then we wait for the next meeting on December 2nd, and we vote on the ordinance 2014-18 then. Do I have a second?
Councilman Kilbauer? Yes. Councilman Governor?
Yes?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Ordinance that won't die.
Next is first reading introduction, ordinance 2014-19. This is removing a handicap parking space for someone who used to have it, but unfortunately doesn't live here anymore. So I'll offer first reading and introduction.
Second.
Councilman Kilbauer?
Yes.
Councilman Governor?
Yes?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicole?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes. Next is public session. Public session is very simple. Just raise your hand when you get called on, come to the microphone, say your name, address, your record, and then you can talk about 5 minutes about whatever's on your mind. Yes.
Patricia Carrillo, Ocean Avenue. At the November 5th meeting, I had a comment, and I think Brian was talking to me about it. Is there going to be scheduled meetings the first and third Tuesday at the same time, everyone?
I don't think we've set the schedule for 2015, but, you know, I would like to see that first and third Tuesdays throughout the year, unless there's something that comes up where we need to cancel it for, you know, some reason, an important reason. But I don't know, when do we work on that?
We'll have that in time for, we'll work on that through December. Talk to members of the council, and we'll come up with a schedule for the reorganization in January.
And the other two things were the meeting the 5 minutes so that people can also dialogue with the council. Thanks for the dialogue tonight, but usually that's not possible. And I think it's better if we do that, so consider that also. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Joy Sanctus, 101 6th Avenue. I really have a question for Mr. DuPont. You made a phone call on election day about me to the Board of Elections.
If you'd like, you can address your questions to the chair, and I'll ask him to answer.
I'm more than happy to talk to you after the meeting individually.
I'd like you to go on record. I have no problem with it being public.
That's all right, the question is to the mayor and council, not to me.
Are you aware of Mr. DuPont's conversation with the Board of Elections on November 4th?
Conversation. No,
You're not aware of it?
I wasn't a part of it, I'm not aware of the conversation.
Was it on his Facebook page?
It was on your Facebook page, I believe.
It was on my Facebook page about a conversation between Michael DuPont and the Board of
It resulted in me being removed from the Board of Elections.
Well, you were removed from you weren't removed from the Board of Elections, you were removed from the polling place.
Thank you.
Because the Board of Elections wanted you out of there because of your behavior.
Do you know specifically why? What behavior?
I believe that, from my understanding, you're being very aggressive and challenging people's rights to vote, which you're not permitted to do. I would refer you back to the state guidelines on challenging. And I would tell you that I'm going to ask the Monmouth County Board of Elections not to allow you to be a challenger in any other elections in Belmar.
I wish you good luck on that. Do you know where these allegations came from that you're repeating?
From people in the polling location. Again, I wasn't the first-hand party to it. I'm getting it third and fourth hand. But it's my understanding that you were removed because of your behavior. It was inappropriate, it was aggressive, and it was threatening to people who wanted to come and vote.
And it was second-hand to you. Do you know the first-hand party's name, or other than people at the polling place?
No, people at the polling place. But I'm sure you could ask the Monmouth County Board of Elections.
In fact, I did. And coincidentally, they wrote me a letter. Mrs. DeSanctis, the Monmouth County Board of Elections would like to apologize for the confusion that took place at the polls during November 2014 general election. Our office did not instruct the local authorities in Belmar to remove you as a challenger at the polls. This course of action should have only been authorized by a Board of Election official in Freehold. If you ever encounter such problems at the polls in the future, please do not hesitate to contact our office. And there's a phone number. So can you explain to me how these accusations that never existed, they're unaware of, since I spoke to all parties involved?
I can't explain that. All I can explain is the reason why I understand you're removed is because of your behavior.
Which?
If you exhibit that behavior again, you would contact the Monmouth County Board of Elections and have you removed the second time. That's why I'm going to contact them again and ask them not to have you as a challenger again.
There was no behavior. That was a made-up story so that you could put some very nasty things on your campaign site, Facebook page, followed by many numerous comments that were untrue. There was no behavior of any kind. There was nothing reported to the Board of Elections. In fact, they're very upset and they feel like they were manipulated because they were forwarded copies of your Facebook page and the comments. And they have no idea what's going on, really. That's why I wanted to talk to Mr. DuPont, and he initiated the call. And actually, I don't believe he has standing to call the Board of Elections on anything happening there. The only ones that can make a complaint are people that are present, and no one did. So right now you're fabricating a story again as a direct attack against me, and I'm just wondering why. Nothing happened. There's no person. There's no allegation from a real person. There's this made-up story about behavior from an unknown source. There's the Board of Elections apologizing. There's Mr. DuPont getting involved, and nothing happened, except that you had an opportunity to smear my name on your Facebook page. Why would you want to do that to me?
Why are you so concerned with someone on Facebook?
Because it was very it was terribly degrading.
Joy, I gotta imagine the only reason, and I think you're probably the only person I've ever known of that's got thrown out of a polling place.
I didn't get thrown out. My badge was not removed. You're lying.
Well, okay, you were removed.
I was not removed.
Joy, was there an officer involved?
Yes, Lieutenant Cox.
Who told him?
Colleen.
Well then, Colleen, who did you hear from?
I was on the phone with the clerk of elections. They informed me that 2 deputy attorney generals had authorized Joy DeSantis to be removed as a challenger and asked me to communicate it to her. I called Lieutenant Cox as he was in proximity and asked him to inform her, gave him the phone number for her to call.
Repeat that, you were on the phone with the,
Clerk of elections.
who's your letter from?
Clerk of elections.
That's amazing.
There's no record of Colleen Connolly speaking with anyone. The only record is Mr. DuPont calling and the Board of Elections asking that someone get in touch with me to call back. My badge was not removed. I should not have been escorted out. None of that happened, except for purposes of what I believe there's nothing pleasant about this. This is an incredibly hurtful thing, and I just am asking you why you would want to do this to me.
Why, who would want to do what?
Well, you, Colleen Connolly, Mr. DuPont are the names that are being mentioned involved in this. You via your Facebook, Colleen Connolly via Lieutenant Cox, who I spoke with today, and Mr. DuPont from Maria Lopez, who received the one phone call. They received one phone call from Mr. DuPont, who should not even really be involved.
Mr. Black, can you say anything? I mean, you made a phone call.
Yeah, I made a phone call. There was comments from Colleen that there was a disturbance. I reached out. I asked Maria to contact Colleen, and that's how it started.
So it started with Colleen to you, to the clerk, back to Colleen. So we'll go back to you, Ms. Colleen.
The Board of Elections would then investigate. That's their job.
All right, so it initiated here.
That's accurate, what Mr. DuPont is saying. That's what Marie said, that her ending conversation with you was that you were supposed to have someone call me. And Colleen never spoke with anyone.
Are you sure I didn't?
That's not true, Colleen did. And remember, one of the things that we have on election day are deputy attorney generals that are at the Mountain County Board of Elections.
I'm aware of that.
And when they hear about behavior like yours, their first thing is to...
What behavior was that again?
To eliminate that behavior so that people feel free and unharassed when they go to vote. And clearly that was a behavior exhibiting, otherwise you would not have been removed. If you were sitting there behaving like every other challenger, you're the only challenger who was removed, right?
I was not removed. There was no
If you weren't removed, then
authorization.
why are you standing here telling us you were removed?
I was removed at the direction of Colleen Connolly I don't know if it's unlawful or it's a civil rights issue, but Colleen Connolly directed Lieutenant Cox to escort me from the polling areas and told me that my badge was removed and I could not come back.
And if I could interject, I did that at the direction of the clerk of elections after conferring with the deputy attorney generals.
And the clerk of the elections is whom?
You have a piece of paper, you read it to, so it's name.
Well, the clerk of elections is Maria Lopez. You didn't speak with Maria, you didn't speak with Robin. I don't know who you're talking about when you say clerk of elections. Because they have denied speaking with you at all. And in fact, are very upset about this. And might be calling you tomorrow.
That's great.
So who did you speak to?
We'd be happy to talk.
I just want to know who she spoke with. You had me
Sure,
escorted by a police officer
Correct.
for absolutely no reason.
Not correct.
And who,
And I would tell you, if you did it again, you would do the same thing.
if I did what again?
If you exhibited aggressive behavior.
Towards, I wasn't even
No,
there.
ask me a question, I'm gonna answer for you.
Okay.
If you show aggressive behavior to residents in Belmar who are trying to vote, and it's inappropriate, we're gonna contact the Monmouth County Board of Elections or whomever. At the end of the day, it's not their call, it's the call, I believe, of the Deputy Attorney General's office, Deputy Attorney General's representatives that are there. They told us, have her removed. Colleen told Lieutenant Cox came and removed you. They did their job just right.
Joy, I think what the mayor is saying is he will decide who is not behaving correctly and will have you removed from the building. I think that's what he's saying.
First of all, you're not even allowed to talk to any of the voters. So not only could I not have aggressive behavior, I couldn't have any behavior towards the voters because you're not there to speak with them at all. It's part of what you do not do as a challenger.
Thank you very much.
So I just want to finalize this by, you're saying that the Attorney General's office, Deputy Attorney General, again, no name, authorized this?
That's your 5 minutes. Thank you. Yes, Colin.
And the borders 1002 Main Street. That house, I don't know about this. It's between you and me. When I was in Greece, I discovered you threatened my daughter with a summons to put a canopy on. It should be my problem, that. It should be not the mayor's problem. I want the canopy down for reasons. And I want to put it down, and I want you to tell me why you interfere with my personal business.
First of all, I don't issue summonses, I don't issue anything like that. It's a matter of code
I
enforcement.
can't hear you. You talk too slow.
I don't issue summonses, I don't issue anything. I did talk to Patty because she called me. It was
She told me
the code enforcement, and the code enforcement said that she had to do this or she was gonna get fined. I never said she had to do it or she was gonna get fined. The code enforcer said, she called me, and then she ended up taking care of it, resolving the problem without getting fined.
Would I like to put the canopy down? I don't want to have no canopy up. I want to know from you, personally, because you're the in charge for everybody. So, if I put it down, what you gonna do? You're gonna give me summons?
I'm not gonna do anything.
Well,
It's
whoever
up
it
to,
is,
it's up
whoever
to,
you're gonna direct.
I don't direct them. They work on
Because
their
when
own.
I
These
call,
folks on their-
when she called me in Greece, and I said, forget it, don't do it, when I go back, I just take it over. She says, Mom, you're gonna find summons, and I'll worry about you. So, I want the canopy down for a reason. I paid $7,000 for the canopy. And if it's ripping, whose responsibility is that? When the wind's taken down or snow or this and that, who's gonna take it? Who's gonna take that responsibility? It's me. I don't want that. I want to have it, wrap it up, put it away, and store it. Can I do it?
You can talk to our code enforcer and find out what you're allowed to
Code
do.
enforcement, I understand from Larry King so when I look at it one time, and they was warning us, the mayor is the main key for everybody in the bottom. So that's why I call your attention. You try to tell me not you, but the code enforcement. You change the code enforcement. I met Mr. Neal, and of course, he told me he's not working here no more.
Correct.
All right. So you have somebody, an officer now, he used to be an officer. I know that person because he threatened me once years ago, and I have no good relation with him, and I don't think so he's going to be any good relation now, since he's got more power too. Because everybody working with power, that's not good for the citizens, taxpayers. I don't appreciate that. I want my canopy down, and I don't want to have no summons. And I don't want another bill that I see in the paper is coming up for me, and any sure people own a business or buildings from 10,000 to 16,000 with a SID. What it means that I don't understand. But you send a bill to us, a second tax bill, and I don't like that. I have to make a living. I have to survive. So I say over and over, that SID should be killed. The town, Belmar used to be beautiful with the 100 years back. it should continue to be, with no second taxpayers to the taxpayers, to some taxpayers, not all. But either or, so we pay plenty taxes. And we don't want to pay anymore. So if I take my canopy down, I will not have harassment. I do for safety reasons. First, and second, for not whether rip that canopy costs a lot of money. You may not have no idea, but I do because I pay the bill. I appreciate it. I want to talk to you in telephone, but I called you a couple of times before, and was never, not for this, for something else, never respond to me. So that's why we do in public, because when we do as a private, we don't get notice on it. So we do an open meeting, so I'm sorry. All right? My canopy is coming down. And I hope I don't have to fight with my rights.
Just your career, Ocean Avenue. I was at the polls around the time that Joy was just speaking about, and she did not distribute any kind of behavior that should have been a problem to anyone. And as a challenger, we don't talk to voters, and she was only a challenger between 6 in the morning and 9 in the afternoon. So there is a problem, and I think it's a problem with Belmar. And so maybe we should take a little more time to try and figure out what happened. So what happened?
Thank you. Yes.
Carmine Sanctus, 6th Avenue. I just like to continue with this. Colleen, when you received this information...
As I mentioned before, just all questions, comments, just address all comments and questions to the chair.
Is everybody sitting up there, you received allegations that Joy was misbehaving. Who did you receive them from? Did you document anything?
I did not receive any allegations.
Who received them?
I heard them from multiple third
What
parties.
multiple people?
Third parties.
Which third parties?
I don't recall right
See, you're throwing out slang at my wife, and actually you have no information to back it up. Who did you get the information from?
I don't have the first-hand knowledge. All I know was that there were complaints about your wife.
Again, you're using general terms, and you keep telling her that we're going to remove you again based on what information?
Based on evidently other poll workers' experience.
There's no other poll workers.
There were no other poll workers.
No other poll workers that you had contact with that would have said anything about my wife. Do you have any idea what time of the day this was that these allegations were made?
I believe it was in the afternoon.
In the afternoon. She wasn't there in the afternoon. Isn't that interesting? She was there from 6 in the morning to 9 in the morning. Colleen, who did Colleen call?
She wasn't in the polling place in the afternoon at all?
No.
So then how would she be removed if she wasn't here?
She came to relieve me. I was there. We were going to drive back home. That's all. She came in to the community room. But she wasn't acting as a poll watcher.
Mr. Sanctus, you're the same party that had the porta potty stuck in front of the yard, is that correct?
Correct. This is, again, the mayor and Colleen. Complicit. Actually complicitness. She made a phone call because she made allegations against my wife. That never happened. And you listened to her, and you had her removed. You didn't speak to anybody. If you can give me a name, we could clarify this.
Just so we're clear, I did not have your wife removed. Our police department removed her because
Why?
they were instructed to by the business administrator after she contacted someone in Freehold who talked with the Attorney General.
She didn't speak to anybody.
Real simple.
Give us a name, Colleen. Who did you speak to?
She's not going to give you a name.
I know, because she didn't speak to anybody.
You're right. We're making this all up.
You are making
It's a
it up.
fantasy.
That's the truth. You're making it up. Because you know why? Because again, my wife is an irritant to you, and you wanted her removed. The election was close, and you didn't want to take a chance. So you said, I'm getting rid of that person right there. And that's what you did. That's fine. But everybody knows it's all bull. You did that and she did that, for no reason other than she's an irritant to you, and you don't like it.
Well, just to address it again, I did not have anyone removed.
Well, why you keep saying that we're gonna throw you out again? If you exhibit that behavior, what behavior? You didn't observe anything.
Well, if she exhibits behavior.
Did you see her exhibit any behavior?
No.
So then what are you saying it for?
Because she wouldn't have been removed if she was
You
behaving
don't
like other
know,
people.
she shouldn't have been removed.
Well, she was.
And why? That's the point here. Why was she removed?
I can't keep repeating the same thing over and over.
Because you're not making any sense.
No, because you just don't want
Colleen didn't speak to anybody at the Board of Elections. She made up a story that she was aggravating voters, which never happened. And again, you're complicit, just like you were with the porta potty.
It's a giant conspiracy.
It is.
You're right. No, you're right. Huge conspiracy. What? Yes, sir.
Mark Pfeiffer, 319 Fifth Avenue.
You're looking better, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Your eyes open now. I just wanted to say, did the entire town just get reassessed, and is that due to Monmouth County? The result, I just received a reassessment card, so my property got reassessed higher.
The Monmouth.
So was that township-wide? And
It's part of the pilot program that Monmouth County's doing. It's a pilot program that is allowing tax assessors to reassess portions of the town. And what it's attempting to do is towns are faced with, since the Great Recession, the choice or the burden of having to go out and have a full-blown assessment, which can be $500,000. And so under this pilot program, it's allowing tax assessors to go to the town and tinker with the town, with the assessments. You still have the right to appeal, but under this pilot program, I think there's only 2 or 3 counties in which this pilot program is doing, but yeah, you're correct. But this was as a result of the tax assessor observing or believing or based on his analysis that the assessments needed improvement. And they're doing the same thing.
So is this the tax assessor from Belmar, or is it?
Yeah, that's the tax assessor from Belmar.
Because he reassessed my house in 2012,
Yeah.
and it went up by $100,000. So if I was just reassessed there, did he use any criteria in terms of how far back they go?
Well, first and foremost, you have the right to appeal. And secondly, there is criteria. This is legitimately.
Because nobody came to my house and I hadn't
No,
done
it's not.
anything since 2012.
No, that's not happening. It's empowering
My
tax.
taxes were increased by about $2,200
Right. And it's
in 2012.
Right, and it's part of this pilot program to allow the tax assessor additional empowerment to do this without the need to go to either a reassessment or a reevaluation.
So he doesn't actually, is there a formula on who they choose?
You know, again, I'm not the numbers.
So I need to contact the tax assessor.
Yeah, contact them.
Which I've done before.
Yeah, contact.
In 2012, and that didn't work out.
Hey, was this part of our settlement, what he's experiencing?
Yeah, there is part, it could be, I'm not quite sure, because I'm not quite sure if Ed Mullane reassessed this pursuant to the pilot program or pursuant to the Monmouth County litigation. The tax board sued Belmar to have a reevaluation done. So I do not know if this is part of the litigation settlement or if this.
If everybody in the town was reassessed, and I had no problem being reassessed.
And I believe that there was, that I just don't know whether it's part of the pilot program. I mean, the mayor makes a good point, which I forgot about, the litigation aspect of it. Because I wasn't handling that, prior council was, so I would suggest.
I can just get your number. What I'll do is I'll give you a call with the assessor, and I'll look at you specifically.
But eventually, the whole town is being reassessed. 2015, where it's
I don't think, it wasn't this year, I think that's either 2015 with implementation and. I don't have it in front of me, so.
Thank you.
Oh, no, sir. And you know what, sir, I'll give you Mr. Mullane's information.
I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Baptist, 1304 B Street. Question about the taxes, because I just got our tax assessment too, and our assessment also went up quite a bit. My question is, when you say a pilot program, is it given to the town of Belmar by Monmouth County, or does the town of Belmar decide to join into the pilot program?
No, this was a required program that the county board instituted. There was no choice on this. But the issue, and I'd asked that you give your name to Colleen, is that this could be the settlement as part of the lawsuit that Monmouth County sued Belmar to have a reval done, or it could be done as part of the pilot program, and I'm not quite sure what Mr. Moore did.
Okay, so I heard mentioned somewhere, I can't remember where, that we were going to be reassessed. The whole town is going to be reassessed, correct? And is that in 2015 coming up?
It'll start in 2015.
Okay, it'll start in 2015. And that's at the insistence of the county?
Correct. The county sued the borough of Belmar.
Okay, okay, and thank you. The other thing is, I also want to speak on this thing about the challenging. I was a challenger for the first time this year, and I found it to be a very enlightening and interesting experience. I was at the polls almost the whole day. My husband was there from 6 to 9, and I came in 11. I was there all the way to closing. And I didn't see any disturbance whatsoever with any of the challengers. And when Joy came to where I was, she sat and talked, and that was that. She was there for a little bit, very short. I saw absolutely nothing in the way of threatening anyone. So I find that whole thing a little disingenuous myself. I just want to put that out there because, you know, as someone who supported, not you, Mayor, but Councilman Beam, the whole thing was a very enlightening experience. I know people feel both sides of the issue. Congratulations, Mayor Doherty, for getting back in. Mr. Bean, I'm sorry we're going to be losing you. But that insinuating that somebody was doing something that they weren't, is one of the reasons why we sometimes find ourselves at odds with our council. And even at the last meeting about the ordinance, everyone was insisting that it was legal the way you guys were voting in this ordinance. Even after someone came up and asked you and said, are you sure you have the proper amount of people? And 60% of us were here, is what you said, Mr. McGovern, and you voted. And then again, today we find that the proper notification for today's vote was not put in the paper. So when we come up and ask you things or question you, I hope that you realize that this doesn't mean that we're anti-Belmar, anti any of you in particular, but we do sometimes find ourselves in a situation where what you're telling us winds up to be incorrect. And I would just like that to be thought of as you guys are going forward. So perhaps you can discuss these matters a little bit before you come out on the dais and present these things and quickly jump in to wanting to vote on something. That was incorrect.
But just let me add, just to clarify, if you remember 2 weeks ago, Mr. DuPont wasn't here. We had
Yes,
another
I know.
attorney. Before we voted, we asked. It seemed
Yes, I
unusual
understand.
that only 2 of us were up here. He said yes. Apparently there was a technicality. The legalities of it, which I'm not that familiar with because I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
They said yes, then we voted.
Mr. McGovern, if I could take that. You know, there is some dispute as to what the case law said. I had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bonanno, and out of abundance of caution, it was agreed that we could do it this evening. Again, I think the cautiousness that we're exhibiting tonight is also, again, the notice.
Well, that's
we
great.
want to do this right. there are steps that we need to take, and we need to make sure that they're done. So, no, I appreciate the dialogue, and I appreciate, the questioning. I don't think anyone on this dais, including Mr. Bean, who questions me all the time. I think it makes us a better council, but also me as a better lawyer. So I think this evening, we're trying, again, to dot our I's and cross our T's, and that's why I took the position. I think we'll just put the notice. It's apparent that everyone wants to put this behind us, but it doesn't seem to want to do it go quietly in the night, as we say. So.
Right. And I appreciate that, and that's why I'm up here now, standing here and asking you guys, so that as we go forward, and we have another 4 years, when people come up and question you or ask you questions, or are sometimes saying to you that we don't agree with you, or we would like more clarification, it doesn't mean that we're anti-everything. We just sometimes maybe know something we don't. And so I'm asking as we go forward, that we can have a little bit more of an open dialogue and not so much tit for tat. That would be really a great thing. And Mr. Bean, again, I'd like to thank you very much for your service. Thank you.
David Stein, 302 C Street. I was also a challenger, and I worked shifts back and forth with my wife for an hour and a half each. So I was there several times throughout the day, and I didn't see any challengers from either side behaving in any kind of untoward way. So I'm another witness that I don't really even understand where these allegations are coming from. One suggestion I'd like to make about ordinances is, in the past, the ordinances used to be by and large crafted during the workshop sessions, and I remember the council we had at that time, and what was the lawyer's name? I'm sorry for that.
Right here, that's all I remember. Carl Kemp.
Carl Kemp, yeah, and I remember them actually discussing, how exactly it should be worded and change the sentence. I mean, we can change that sentence, and that was really good for democracy to see our laws actually being crafted in public instead of just being sprung on us a couple of days before the meeting. So I think I'd like to suggest that we return to that kind of system for creating our ordinances. It's really helpful to the public to see what kind of thinking goes into creating these ordinances, and it's very good for transparency. Next, Assemblyman Declan O'Scanlan has proposed that we change the law regarding vote by ballots, the hand delivery by messengers, and he wants to limit it, the vote by mail. He said that the vote by mail system is being abused, and especially in the Asbury Park situation this past election day, they ended up having to throw out half of the vote by mail ballots. And he suggested that they limit the messenger, each messenger to hand delivering 2 ballots, acting as a messenger for only two voters instead of being able to bring 10. And actually, in this past election, I found at least one messenger that delivered 12 this time. I was just wondering if you would support a change like that. Like, really, that's supposed to be so a family member can help, right? It's not supposed to be for vote harvesting or something like that. Like, just about everybody has a family member that, personally, I don't understand why somebody can't just put in the mailbox, why we even need messengers. Like, you don't have to go to a post office or mail something. We just leave it in our mailbox and the mailman takes it. So who can't get to their mailbox and put a piece of mail in the mailbox for the mailman to take? I don't even really understand why we have to have messengers. And then we have these messengers, they don't even live in Belmar. If you look at the messengers that worked in this year's election, they were from Wall and Neptune and all these other towns. They were messengers, like, why would they even want to do this, delivering, someone living in another town delivering 10 vote by mail ballots for Belmar? What would be the motivation for that? I really don't understand. Do you have an opinion on that?
I think the more people that vote, the better.
I'm not saying that people shouldn't vote. I'm saying that there should be a limit to.
You know, that's my opinion on it, right? I think the more people that vote, the better. I think the easier it is for people to vote, the better. I think the less harassment they get, the better. And I think that if you're a qualified person able to vote, you should be able to exercise your right to vote, and the government should do everything it can to make it as easy as possible for you to exercise that vote.
Well, actually, what Mr. Assemblyman Scanlon is postulating is that people are actually being harassed into voting, people that aren't even interested in voting, and they're actually being approached, and, you know, pressure put on them to vote and vote a certain way, and this is why he's suggesting this reform. And I'm not suggesting that anybody be prevented from voting, but like really, you can vote by mail. If you can't go to the polls, you can put the mail into your mailbox. You don't need to have a messenger from some other town hand delivering 10 ballots. It just doesn't smell right. And you know, this is a particular interest of Belmar, since as I've written, 17% of our total votes came from vote-by-mail ballots, and that's like 3 times the average. It was most in the county, and 3 times the average of all the other towns in the county. The only other town that was the town that came in second was Asbury Park, I'm sorry, Spring Lake, but their vote-by-mail results and vote at the poll results were almost identical, whereas in Belmar it was very distorted. And it just seems like that's a reform that would really create a lot more confidence in our elections. Thank you.
Well, as someone who is running an election, I'm pretty confident that the voters exercise their right. I'm glad we had a high turnout. I think that countywide it was 43%. I think in Belmar we were close to 65. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a healthy thing for our town to have high turnout. In August we had low turnout, and in November we had high turnout. I think high turnout is better than low turnout in this town or any town or throughout the county or throughout the state or throughout the country. So I think anytime you start talking about limiting people's ability to vote, it's a mistake. So a messenger ballot gives people an ability to vote. You know, there are other states that have voting for 21 days. You'll have to vote for 21 days. You can only vote in Oregon. You know, I'd like to see something like that in New Jersey. I'd like to see it where more people can vote on their time schedule. And for a lot of people who work, one day out of the whole year isn't easy. It's not easy at all. And they might not be motivated like you. They might not say, that's no good, Dari, let's get them out. They go about their lives. They drop their kids off at school or daycare, then they go to work, and they come home, they may have practice somewhere. So trying to fit voting in for one day isn't all that easy. So if someone says to them, hey, listen, I'll messenger your ballot, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
How hard is it to get to your mailbox? You know, it's like, I think if you have a job, you can make it to your front door, put a piece of mail in your mailbox. Well, it really is suspicious, 17%, when every other town is 4%, 5%.
I hope in the next election it's 20% or more.
I don't doubt that. Okay, thank you.
And I hope we have more turnout, if we get to 70%. See nothing else? Oh, yes, Brent.
Brendan Reed, 109th Avenue. We go today, it's Veterans Day, where we remembered and gave thanks to the brave men and women who fought for and today continue to fight for our precious freedoms like the right to vote. Men like Sam Kay, World War II veteran. Women like Amy, I believe we last name Contil, who was down the hall from me in my building, who was an Army reservist, which makes me outraged at anyone who tried to suppress their right to vote. And that is what happened. And in Sam case was Jim Bean, who, according to the Asbury Park Press, signed the affidavit. This is the same Sam Kay who was a longtime resident and a Sandy victim, who sat up here on the dais as a planning board member, called going to many of these meetings, seeing Sam up there. This is the same Sam Kay who also, as the Asbury Park Press reported, voted in the August 19th special election, but neither Mr. Bean nor anyone else saw a problem with it. Unfortunately, these two people were amongst the over 140 people, or nearly 15% of the turnout, that have their votes challenged. In other words, attempted to be suppressed by desperate opponents who were clearly afraid they were going to lose. Voter suppression by any party is despicable. It violates everything our country stands for. Not surprisingly, these tactics backfired, costing votes. I heard the voter suppression went viral on social media. The voters of Belmar, of all parties, and Belmar is predominantly a Republican voting town, have spoken. They have chose to vote for, in this election, sweep out and elected Matt Doherty and Tom Redditt, and we, the people, have spoken. Thank you.
Mr. Reed, I'd like to address that. I thought you'd never ask. Does Sam Kay live in this town?
Sam Kay voted.
He admits he's lived in Oakwood, or Ocean Township for 2 years, is that correct? In the paper?
He said, I still have my, quote unquote, in the Asbury Park Press, I still have my residency in Belmar, end quote. And he voted in the August 19th election. Obviously, he was allowed to vote, so there wasn't any problem at the August 19th election, correct? So what was the problem between August 19th and November? He's obviously still where he is.
Do you know what the law is, sir? The law says 30 days of the residency, you change residency. And let me give you another fact. What is a estate sale? You know what an estate sale is?
I know what a estate sale
Okay,
is,
well,
but I am reporting to you, are you saying that the Asbury Park Press article is wrong?
Absolutely. Everybody knows Sam Kay doesn't live here.
Sam Kay says he maintains a residency in Belmar, that's what it's stated. Now, what's the, now, I'm listening to the council. Sam Kay's vote was eventually counted, correct?
Yes, Sam
Well,
Kay.
it was not.
Sam Kay, like the other 145 people, we reside in Belmar and are permitted to vote here. Otherwise, they would not have been given a ballot.
We were down there today, his ballot was not counted. Now, number two, what's amazing is that, you know, if you put his address into Google, it comes up with the estate sales. And the person's phone number that you call for the estate sale to sell everything is the same person that dropped off his messenger ballot. I find it amazing that the same guy who is delivering the ballot is selling all the stuff in his house because he doesn't live there anymore. Coincidence? I don't know, but you know what? You go knock on the door, nobody lives there.
Well, like I said, any church lives down where I live. Well, what about that? I mean, was his vote counted or not counted?
Last we heard it was.
You know what, today?
If it wasn't, we'll find out why, and that it absolutely should be.
And one more thing, Mr.
We'll
Reed.
make sure we'll fight together, Count.
One more thing, Mr. Reed. I'm a councilman. I don't have the authority to say whether people vote or not. All I'm allowed to do is just put a question out there and say, we don't believe this person lives here. That's all we're allowed to do. I don't have the authority to block somebody from voting. For you to stand there and accuse me of having the authority of
I'm
blocking
telling you,
people from
you signed
voting,
the affidavit.
that's very ingenuous.
You signed that affidavit?
Absolutely, and I question his residency, because for 2 years, he's lived in Ocean Township, and he admitted to it.
But he maintains his residency in Belmar.
It doesn't, sir, the law says 30 days of the residency, you change your address. He's been there for 2 years. But yet you attack me for this?
I am saying that he maintains his residency.
His house is
and
fixed.
And that according
Go knock
to
on the
the
door.
information that's on the residency. I mean, is it wrong? Is the article, so you're saying the article is false?
Absolutely, Sam Kagan, false information. He lives in Ocean. His house has an estate sale. Everybody knows he doesn't live here. I challenge his residency. That's all I'm allowed to do. If the Board of Elections says, hey, legally he still lives here, he still lives
And
here.
did the board, so did the board election say or not say?
All I know is they told us today his vote did not count. Not my authority.
Thank you. Yes, Mike.
Can I speak on more than one subject?
Just name, address, for the record, you can say whatever.
Michael Drews, 16th Avenue. Number one, I have a question. Do we own the Belmar logo?
I don't know if we formally have
That this is partnership for it?
Does somebody own it? Because I saw it on one of the resolutions setting the fee for Belmar.
Right, that's for
magnets.
yeah, that's
The
for
reason
Belmar.
I'm asking is that, are we able to control the use of it? Or can anybody, if we don't own it, use it?
Right now, yeah, we don't have a trademark or anything like that. I mean, if
I
people
think
put it on T-shirts, things like that, we're happy to have them.
I think we should, but that's, it needs, that's another thing. Another thing I want to bring up to Mr. and Mrs., to the people who are questioning the authority of the mayor. The mayor in this form of government is not God. He doesn't have all the power you think he does. If you feel that there is a conspiracy against you for whatever reason, you have the appropriate administrative and judicial avenues to go to check on his supposed power. If you feel that you were, in any way, your rights were taken away from you, and you were asked to leave someplace you shouldn't have been asked, you had the appropriate chance at that point to call the clerk of the board and have whatever order was rescinded. And you still have those rights. You can still go through those channels. In the future, I think you have 90 days, 120 days from the point of incident. The other thing is that the election's done. So let's not keep on bringing up, and don't bring up things that happened 4 months ago, like certain council people have. Things have happened, they're done, they're bringing up other instances now. No, let the people who feel aggrieved go handle it their way. I don't think this is the forum to bring them up. I think right now we should be saying congratulations to the victors. I'm a little disappointed in one of the candidates who has not publicly congratulated, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, the victors as one of the other candidates did on the slate that ran. I think this is a time that we should start trying to bring the whole borough together. The past is the past. You have another election coming up. You don't like it. Try to bring it out. To people who are complaining about the total number of absentee or vote by mail, whatever you want to call it, we had more than just an election of mayor and a council person. We had the House, we had the U.S. Senate, we had freeholders. All of them are outside this borough. They may have, in fact, helped bring the messengers in to take the votes out. O'Scanlan, I don't agree with you. He wants to have 2 people. What happens if you got a big family? You know, all going on vacation. You mean you got to send down 3 people to take down the ballots? Why can't you all take them? And if memory serves me correct, you got to put a stamp on it. I'm sure that not everybody is as wealthy as some people who put a stamp on everything.
Can't afford
Just kidding. Just kidding. About the stamps. I'm just saying, that's what they want to do. They want to use the messenger service. Let it go. Let them use it. Allowing only 2 messengers, I don't agree with it. And, I believe that his co-sponsor may be backing out of that, co-sponsoring that for a number of reasons. And finally, if you're so interested in voting, then I'm sure you'll get behind Senator independent from Maine. What's the independent senator from Maine? Sanders. Suggestion today that the election day become a national holiday. That's all I have to say, and ask the entire borough of Belmar to pull together now and aim forward.
Thank you. With that, I'll make a motion to close the public portion and adjourn.
I'll second.
Aye.
I want to get home right now.